Hi and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I thought I'd explain a strange dream that I had that I think um, was, if not spiritually interesting in the way that we always hope these things are, it was interesting in the way that psychologically, I could look into the material and experiential reasons why I would have dreamt something like this. Although, of course, I would prefer for it to be spiritual. And I'm not saying I entirely believe in the spiritual. I believe in God in some sense, perhaps in a pantheistic way, because I am a materialist. But um, I don't know. I just find all of this interesting. So in this dream, if you can't tell by my accent, I live in the UK, and I was in a sort of primordial London, like London at the beginning of London, London in the time of its first existence as a city. But there was a tall wall holding back the Thames, and a sort of flowing of water underneath it, as if it had risen very high, or that I was at a high point, and the water was just flowing, and I stood there, and then beside me there was a man who I knew to be a Roman. I don't know how that I knew he was a Roman. I just knew that that this was somebody from Roman London, and when as soon as I saw him, it was as though he were my lover, but like the most intense kind of love possible, like a spirit guide kind of love. It was very strange, and he was just. So I think I just remember running over to this person and hugging him and holding on, and it feeling like a really intense, almost chemical reaction of love inside my body that I felt during sleep, and sort of following him to a house somewhere in, being aware that my manners were a bit odd, and him saying, "No, that's fine. That's just how you are. Just be how you are, because that's the way that you are. That's just how things are." And I don't know. It was very strange, like to see this character and to recognize that sense of a deeply intense bond. It was very odd. And then suddenly the atmosphere in the house became dangerous. It had gone from protection and intense welcoming and sort of ease that I didn't feel at the time, especially because this was some years ago and I was very awkward as a person, very uncomfortable around other people, and it became sort of oppressively awful, the feeling, and so I had to leave. And I remember getting a bus and riding on the outside of the bus and holding on to the bus and leaving, and then waking up and being too scared to look into the middle of my room or to look near the mirror, because I felt as though this character would be in the room. And his name was Miles, which is a Roman name, but I'm not sure how I knew that that was his name, and I hadn't read anything about Romans. Perhaps I had been thinking about them after all. Britain is a former Roman country, and I did grow up in a place full of ruins, and I have been aware of Roman history as a presence throughout my life. I guess it's also interesting in that I'm also Cypriot, and so my other part of my heritage is in the also part of the Roman Empire, and so that was interesting to have a spirit guide who was a Roman named Miles. And then I remember having a conversation with somebody after that, because I had started dating, or seeing but not really dating, I guess, at the time, someone whose name began with M but a completely different name, and then this person saying, "Oh, how's Miles?" and then me being like, "Wait, Miles? That's not his name." But that was kind of strange because they were sort of intensely reading my energy, and um, then the name Miles appeared in their head, and that was completely unrelated to anything that I'd ever spoken about. Um, so I don't know, I just found that interesting, because I'm skeptical. I'm a very skeptical person. I'm always skeptical, and I never really believe in anything that I encounter. I don't have any, I don't have a definite barrier to believing in things, but I don't have, I do want to believe in ghosts, and I am very interested in them, and I am very interested in the idea of spirits and spirit guides and angels, and but I'm also not sure if I believe in them, and I'm willing to believe either side of these things. So it was, I guess, just interesting, and you can examine that in many ways. You can say it's an innate longing, or that there were reasons for having dreamt something like that, but it was intensely comforting. And then I guess also you can say, well, as an animal being, that that I was producing those chemicals in myself as a necessity to sustain myself as a living thing. That I had been in an absence of a social life, and I had been extremely withdrawn, and which I'm not these days, but back then. And it could have been that my body was flooding itself with these chemicals and then these ideas on top of it to compensate for a lack, to keep me going in some way, or to create these necessities to encourage me. And then, I guess you can put spiritual things into that as well and say, well, these things are true and providential in a sense, because physically we react to the environment, and we react towards certain drives, and then these appear in symbolic ways, and you can give them as much credence as if they were entirely immaterial or entirely transcendental, because it's just as real, and it still corresponds to symbolic realities. If that makes any sense. I'm not really sure how to explain these things, but it's just something that I found interesting, and I wonder what people think, if you've encountered these things in your own life, and do you believe in spirit guides, and do you believe in dreams? I didn't ever encounter Miles again. I wanted to, because I did really intensely enjoy that dream, and I feel like it was important in some way, but it was so intense. Like I woke up thinking, I can't look into my room just in case he's in my room, and being scared, and saying inside of my head, no, leave me alone. I don't want to see a ghost. Please don't. Don't appear to me. Although these days, I think I would probably say yes. I would like the presence of the ghost, but I don't know, because I'm also, as much as I say I could believe or couldn't believe in ghosts, I'm also scared of them. So it's one of those things. But I think that it's just an experience, and I wanted to record a video because I wanted to record a video because I wasn't sure what to make for this this one. I'm going to make a video every day and try to get used to speaking on camera, and to composing my thoughts and sharing them. So this is this one, and thank you for watching.